Hi everyone, and welcome to the second hangout for empoweryoutv. And tonight I'm very excited to be joined by Eve John, who is not only a multi-award winning business owner, but she's a speaker and a coach for women's confidence, and most recently has become a best-selling author. So I'm also excited that Eve will be featuring in the first series of Empower You TV. But tonight we're just going to have a little bit of a chat about some of the things that can hold you up in your pathway to success. And welcome, Eve. Thanks for joining.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
What would you say are some of, or one of, the biggest obstacles that you can identify that gets in the way of people achieving success and achieving their goals?
Well, with my work that I do, particularly with women and women entrepreneurs, I find that it's the inner critic and that little voice inside your head that chatters away with the what ifs, but I can't, things that you hear constantly, and it sort of often will hold people back. They won't be able to sort of take that next step because they're too afraid or they're too fearful of the big what might happen, because they've got the little devil on their shoulder that's telling them perhaps they're not good enough, they're not smart enough, they'll never be able to do it. So definitely the inner critic is a really big element to overcome, so that you can really achieve things that you want to do and live the life that you deserve.
Yeah, sure. And you work a lot with women in particular. What drove you, or what gravitated you to working with women in particular?
Well, I think it's probably, I know men they're very bad for their negative self-talk, but for women it's about 75% of the chatter that we have inside our mind is negative, and the battle really goes on in between our ears, and it's really uncomfortable. And some of the phrasing and the terms and the wording that we tend to use as women, we're a lot more emotional, and we use our emotions for our descriptions. So we tend to talk in our feelings, and we do that in our mind. So I think if you can empower women to make changes to themselves, that's going to impact on their family, it's going to impact on their children, their partner, and the people that they're surrounded by as well.
You've spoken on some pretty amazing stages most recently. Can you talk about the event that you've spoken at most recently, and what in particular you were talking about as a way of combating some of these issues?
I spoke to a really fantastic group of women that are really trying to grow themselves, and it's something that I see very often in the women that I'm talking to, going out and speaking at events. I recently spoke, my goal in my life was to speak on the stage at the Melbourne Convention Centre, and I did that, and I'll be doing that again later this year. And years back, there was my inner critic was saying, "Oh, you'll never get to speak up there. That's where all the big people talk, talk and speak." So most commonly what I'm talking about, and a lot of things that I've got in my book, are looking at ways of empowering women. So looking at how you can overcome your inner critic, which of course ties into your fear, which of course ties into how you take other people's criticisms or comments about you as well. So it's really, a three-pronged approach at looking at how you can become a more confident person, and really being able to recognize your inner critic when they're popping up, and being able to put some simple strategies into place to perhaps not silence them, but to give yourself a little bit of an opportunity to stop, take a minute, and just reassess what they're actually saying is something that's really important and really key to a lot of people that I work with who've had big breakthroughs, or have had a lot of success in what they've chosen to overcome.
That's fantastic. I know Trav spoke a lot on the last hangout about visualization and mindset, and how powerful it is, which mindset you choose to adopt. I know you went through your own obstacles and trials and tribulations, and overcome adversity yourself, and especially also as a family. Do you want to maybe perhaps highlight some of the things that you learnt through that journey? I mean, it was one heck of a journey.
Yeah. Just with my husband having a serious accident that landed him in hospital for 5 months, and my little boy being born with a medical condition that, had him in and out of hospital for the first 6 months of his life and 2 operations. There was times when I was doubting myself and questioning, what I had done wrong, and I was trying to be a good
Mm.
wife and a good mum, and just looking at automatically when things go a little bit astray, or perhaps not how we plan them, we start to talk to ourselves really badly and use phrases that we
Yeah.
would never say to loved ones. So that was something that I had to overcome, and I realized one day that what I was saying to myself, I would never ever say to somebody else that I loved. So,
Mm.
we love ourselves, and we need to be seen to empower ourselves, to be good role models for our family and our children. So that's when I decided that I was going to stop speaking to myself like I was a second class citizen, and that really helped me to battle through, and a couple of other challenges that have come up for us as well, being able to remain focused, being able to talk myself back from the negative to the positive, and overcome some battles, and really stop listening to I like to call it my little girl voice, the little
Yeah.
person inside you that's scared or embarrassed or ashamed, really sort of coming and being that big girl and sitting at the big girl's grown up table, and sort of really questioning that little voice in my head. And when she says things that that are trying to stop me, or giving me some resistance, asking her things like, well, how do you know that's true? Well, who cares if that's your opinion? And I'm not weak. So it's just little things that I've managed to tweak into my mind have helped me overcome that. And I still get it a lot as well. I haven't silenced that inner critic, but I managed to turn her volume down very, very
Yeah.
frequently.
That's fantastic. We unfortunately, I could sit here and listen to you all night. There's only 3 minutes left, and so I want to ask you if you could, anybody listening could action one thing today that
Yep.
would help them move forward from the things that you've been talking about. Obviously, you cover so much in your book, which very excited to say is releasing this Wednesday, is it?
Yep. Yeah, all of the money is
Fantastic.
going to domestic abuse charities, so Impactful Women. I'm really excited to be partnering with them to help women. And I think probably the key thing that people can do and implement straight away is to really stop, and when they hear themselves talking negatively, to write down the phrases that they're using in their mind. There's nothing more powerful than seeing it written in front of you, and have a read through those phrases. And the first thing to consider is, are they really an accurate description of you as a person? And if it's
Mm.
not an accurate description of you as a person, then you need to cross it out. The next thing that I suggest is it an accurate description of your behavior as well? So if you've called yourself silly or dumb or things like that, you need to, well, is that an accurate description of your behavior? And again, if it's not, cross it out. And the real question is, when you see, and this is why I get people to write it down, because when you see things in writing, quite often
Mm.
they seem quite trivial. So
Mm.
these phrases that we're saying to ourselves, when we see them actually written out or typed out, and you read them and you think, that's how a 15-year-old speaks, or that's,
Yeah.
it's untrue. I can't get up and say that of me, because I actually know that that's untrue. That's an untrue statement of me. So just really thinking about what you're saying and in your mind, and just asking yourself, is it an accurate description of you? Is it an accurate description of your behavior? And once you've written it down, does it seem quite trivial? Is it something that, if that you had as a note, you wouldn't even glance at twice?
Wow, there's some pretty profound stuff in there, and I'm sure people can relate and feel as though they can action that no matter where they are in their life, because it's applicable to a lot of people. We do have less than a minute, so what I would like to find out is where I can find out more information about your book, because I
Okay.
think that could help a lot of people.
Sure. Well, it'll be available on Amazon, so through Amazon US and Australia. It's called Confident You, Top
Mm.
Self-Confidence Boosting Tips for Women. I'll also have a link from my website as well, which is
Oh,
just www.evejohn.com and .com.au as well.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you once again, because I'm sure what the small time that we've spent with you tonight will be able to help a lot of people out there. And looking forward to Series 1, where we can have you for a whole hour on an episode of Empower You TV.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you for taking time out from your family, and I'll speak to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.